on discussing the role of social media in helping to bring attention to your professionalism. It's a really unique lecture, and I've discussed this a lot over the years in multitude of different classes I've taught. Knowing I realize that I'm primarily focused on exercise physiology content, I also feel it's my duty as a professor to help students reach their career goals, whether that be a direct job after finishing up your degree or moving on to graduate school. And social media has really gotten a kind of a bad rap over the years, and I'm here to give all of you an assignment to work on and also a way of networking with all of us, all of your other peers that are in the class. So what we know is that there are many different social media tools available for both fitness and healthcare professionals, including social networking platforms, blogs, microblogs, wikis, media sharing sites, and virtual reality and gaming environments. These tools can be used to improve or enhance professional networking and education, organizational promotion, patient care, patient education, and public health programs. As students who are preparing to enter the workforce, representing yourself professionally can be key to gaining successful employment. Obviously, there are potential risks: distributing poor quality information, damage to your professional image, breaches of patient privacy, violation of personal professional boundaries, and licensing or legal issues. Those you're not going to encounter because you're going to be smart in the way in which you professionally share who you are. Many businesses, healthcare institutions, and professional organizations have issued guidelines on how to prevent such risks. My lecture today focuses on small ways to help us all use social media to our benefit. Social media is oftentimes referred to as Web 2.0. Social networking is a means to leverage your professional identity. When we speak about networking, it's a really important buzzword in the real world of getting a job. The definition of social media is broad and constantly evolving. The term generally refers to internet-based tools that allow individuals and communities to gather and communicate, to share information, ideas, personal messages, images, and other content, and in some cases, to collaborate with other users in real time. As university students, you should consider your online presence and how you connect with other professionals, both in the career you are seeking to reach, those that are headed to graduate school, researchers, professors. You want to try to create a really robust network, which is what is important, right? What we see here on the screen: healthcare providers, fitness, business entrepreneurs. So I'm going to be going over a variety of different examples throughout this presentation. I'm just going to kind of jump right into it and tell you that there is a lot. Don't underestimate the power of the internet. There's so much information that we can obtain from good, reliable resources. So when you think about professional information technology definition, quote, it's the act of linking computers so they can exchange information or share access to central store of information, right? So professional networking is really going to start with a connection that's made on the internet. Many jobs have been obtained by just beginning a conversation with someone online, or someone who simply sees who you're connected to, whether it's a business, an organization, a gym, a facility. It really is powerful. Building relationships in your career is absolutely invaluable. So professional practice definition, the process of building relationship, especially with people whose friendship could bring advantages such as job or business opportunities. Getting to know people in other departments, organizations, and professional organizations can open doors when you may not have even been considering advancing on the career ladder. If we're sitting in a classroom today, I would bring into all of you a puzzle, and this puzzle would show you the importance of all of you having different pieces, having to collaborate together, right? So all of us working at a desk or at a table and spending some time beginning to put the pieces of the puzzle together. So I want you to realize when we sit like this and do a team activity where we all hold pieces to success, you will naturally see different leaders emerge. You will see some that may step back, kind of to the back burner, or not necessarily speak or participate. You're going to notice how others communicate with each other, how they work directly, but in the end, how they all are at a common good to finish that puzzle. But since we're in an online environment, we're going to continue moving through social media sites we want to look at. So Facebook and Twitter definitely have their place. They're very public. Many people use these as a way to connect with grandma and aunts and uncles. But it also can be a great way to stay connected to other emerging advances in innovation within our careers and within our profession. You really want to take a lot of caution when we post to any type of social media that it's HIPAA, right? So when we think about HIPAA, we're thinking about all of the compliance that we need to be to make sure we're not doing anything that could breach someone's privacy and trust. So at all times, we must adhere to HIPAA. Individuals have been fined, fired, spent time in jail with HIPAA violations, especially those that work directly in healthcare. Be very careful with social media sites. Many physicians and surgeons and CEOs of hospital I see all the time on social media platforms, and I'll share some of these accounts with you. There's smart ways of connecting with others that you're not sharing individual patient information. So participation in social media by the general public has really increased sharply over the past decade. In the United States, the proportion of adults using social media has increased from as little as 8% back in the early 2000s to exponentially 80 to 90% of the population is going to use some form of social media. It's very prevalent across now all ages and actually all professions as well. So educators, healthcare professionals, it's very persuasive around the world. So you might not know, but depending on the career, whether it's a nurse, whether it's a physician, a physical therapist, business, an attorney, there are lots of ways that social media enhances their jobs, and there's lots of private groups that many of them are part of. So let me just go back. So when we talk about Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, right, Wikipedia, YouTube, virtual reality, gaming, these are all just lists of potential. Social media can benefit both your personal and professional purposes, provided you portray a safe work image, right? So this is not sharing what you're doing with your college friends on the weekend, but this is really your image of who you're going to be in a career. So many employers consider not only professional skill set, but they're also looking at prospective employees' hobbies, passions outside of work. Their ease on social media can really benefit a person both personally and professionally. Most job searches will do a social media, not necessarily looking for bad stuff, but looking at who you are, looking at your interests, looking at your use of social media. I have a job at a hospital, and we have people who serve as our social media liaisons, and they're always posting great stuff. So social media is no longer a taboo like it once was. Social media has grown at such a rapid pace that some people are still wondering how it fits into their lives. Many became active in social media on a personal level, but separating personal from your professional can really be tough for people to navigate multiple accounts. So will you manage two separate accounts, or are you going to be able to streamline what your vision is on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and LinkedIn to just have one, and you're just really much more careful with what you're posting? So professional is your social media that is multimedia. It's like a resume complete with endorsements. It provides you with a platform for building your thoughts and leadership. So engagements that you've done both at the university, volunteer within the community, prior jobs, accolades you've served as. It becomes a very acting, real-time digital resume, and that is something that more and more businesses are looking for. I've had many students recently, especially during the pandemic, be employed with some of our fitness apps online, and one way of showing your how savvy you are with technology is using yourself to really maintain a positive image. The personal identity might be someone who's just engaging with family and friends, regardless of who they are. You can connect with people, old high school friends or, old great aunts. Either way, you should be able to streamline and do them all together if you're, very careful with what you're posting. So employers from any organization have the resources to access our social media accounts. They often do this during the hiring process to get a better feel for who we are and if we're the right candidate for the position. This is why we always pass on the advice to always be cautious, know when and how to mix professional and personal content on social media, and be sure to always maintain a really nice positive image online. Some of the things that I do encourage you to do is connect with professors. Look for your old professors. Find me and you find my account. I am fine with you following me on my accounts. I've helped so many students. In fact, just a couple of weeks ago, I was sending LinkedIn job listings to a student who just graduated last semester. Can you find past employers? Include all of your certificates, whether it's your just basic life support, your CPR, any specialties that you have. All of your involvement, your clubs, your volunteer, your fraternity, your sorority, anything that helps with that professional profile. Select a nice professional photograph taken in a formal business casual setting. Try to avoid from a cap and gown outfit from high school or even from your university graduation. Just a nice classic, headshot of yourself. Stay up to date on messages and connect with requests and profile updates. Follow insightful pages, and I'm going to give you some examples on insightful pages that you should follow in a slide in a moment. Also, take a look at career opportunities. On so many of our social media platforms, there's job boards, and a lot of times those job boards, you're going to find better jobs than just going into Indeed to find positions. Some things you want to be careful about is don't create a profile and leave it unmanaged for months. Don't make things kind of not well, clean and tidy. Try to make sure that you don't post anything that you wouldn't want to just sit down and share in an office situation, on Facebook, on Twitter, on any of those things. So a survey that was conducted by Career Builder surveyed employers and said that close to 60% of the employers reported that they use social networking sites to research potential job candidates. Have a profile. Be proud of who you are. Be proud of your accolades and your accomplishments. So things you want to look at is, first, start by searching yourself. You can search yourself. You can have private pages where it just comes up with your photo and your name, and that's fine. Or you can have an open account. That's your choice on what you want. I encourage a private, so you're only letting people who know you actually see your stuff. But do a Google search of yourself and see what you find. Remove all embarrassing posts and photos. Go back through Twitter and Facebook and any of these social media platforms that you already have. Keep your identity very professional. So, know what you're looking at when you get on these social media platforms. Again, you can look at mine. You can look at other professors, see how they're depicting themselves, or perhaps, you did your internship, what your preceptor or site manager looks like on social media, and try to emanate some of those profiles. Think carefully about your personal branding, right? So how do you want people to see you? Why do you want to brand yourself? Because that's what you're doing. You're creating a social media professional profile, and you're now managing your online identity. You're in control to build your own brand, how you want people to see you, potential employers, search committees, colleagues, reviewers, relatives, friends, even your mother to perceive you. So you can highlight specific skills, experience, history, accomplishments, any associations you're involved with. You really want to craft your own unique mold. So in my classes, I usually have two subsets of students. Right, I have students that are already on the entrepreneur route where they are personal training and building a clientele, or working with high school athletes, or on the mold in the senior citizens, living community, doing senior exercise. People are beginning to build their own businesses, finding clients and working. And I have other students who are directly looking for that job, to be a part of a corporation or a healthcare institution, and they're just on the job hunt. And I also have a subset of students that are looking to move on to graduate school, medical school, physical therapy school, whatever it may be. These online identities serve for all of them. So do you own your own business? Are you a personal training that you're doing that on the side where you're completing your current degree? Do you have a unique side business you want to share with the class? I did this many years ago, and I had a student who had this car detailing business. And as soon as we shared it, he started to naturally just network and get more and more students networking for his little car detailing business. So are you already working and earning money on the side? This assignment serves to connect you with our peers and our classmates here in this class. Although this is an online class that meets virtually, I want you to connect with each other using social media. I want you to broadcast your business. I want you to broadcast your interests, your accomplishments. If you're a student athlete, if you're part of an online campus group, share this with us, right? Many students are beginning to have a small private business. We can help you. Share that information with us. If you don't have a side business, you're simply using this assignment as a means to prepare for seeking employment. How do you want your online identity to look like? What highlights about yourself do you want to share with others? This week, I'm asking that each of you spend time cleaning up your current accounts and connect with one another. You should find professors, previous educators that have helped you to get this far in your education. Many teachers serve as great references. Otherwise, it may be upperclassmen that have already graduated that you keep in touch with. So my number one thing is to have a LinkedIn account. So I want you to begin with, getting a LinkedIn account. And if you don't want a LinkedIn account, simply for the purpose of this assignment, you're making one. Once I grade it, you can close it down. But I want to watch you see how LinkedIn has incredible opportunities for job placement and also a lot of graduate school experience opportunities. I want you to find each other. So all of the whole roster of the class find each other. I want you to share your connection within the profession. I want you to find accounts to follow. So the assignment here is, for the purpose of this course, you're going to create your own LinkedIn account. I would like you, I can't make you, but I would encourage you to think about what email address you use. Many students change universities, transfer schools, or end up going on to grad school, and they may no longer use their current university email address. So you can use your current email address, but be aware that many people phase out of using their university accounts. So if you have your own Yahoo or Gmail or Hotmail or whatever email account, that might be best. So whatever email you feel comfortable, just know that most students do seem to slowly move away from using their university email. And then you're going to connect with each other. So, use your email, have your name, have a nice photo on there, and you're going to find previous managers, peers, colleagues, and I want you to begin networking your online circle. And if it means you're brand new to LinkedIn and your online circle is just us in this class, that's fine, right? That's perfect. If you've been on LinkedIn for a while, we already are going to see that you already have quite a few connections. I want you to try to go on there and navigate employment opportunities. I want you to join groups that have job postings in the field, whether it's exercise physiology, strength and conditioning, so those of you heading on to physician assistant, physical therapy, those of you going on to get a grad school, whether it be an MBA in business. I mean, many of you have many different avenues you're headed on, but now you're going to use your LinkedIn to not just connect with us in the class, but connect with other groups within LinkedIn. These are some of the groups that I'm going to recommend you consider. So once you've created that account, I want you to find some of these groups. You don't need to find all of these groups, but the groups that sound most interesting for you. So whether it's the National Strength and Conditioning, American College of Sports Medicine, CEPA is a Clinical Exercise Physiology Association, Medical Fitness, Physical Therapy, Physician Assistant, any of these are going to help you, and how they help you is that they are going to be constantly posting almost daily news updates, new published articles, innovative advances in the field, news releases. So it helps you to stay on the cutting edge. It also gets your name connected with some of these great groups of people. So these are some for you to consider. There are numerous other groups out there. There's lots of student groups. I have seen lots of groups that help with graduate assistantships. So if you're looking for, let's say, strength and conditioning graduate assistantship, that exists. You can get on LinkedIn and find posting for groups like this. If you're looking for help with interviews, for career placement, those exist as well. So once you've made your account, the assignment is to start growing what groups you're aligning yourself with. The last part of the LinkedIn assignment is it has a very unique feature called endorsement, and I would like you all to endorse each other. Many of you have already done group work with other students in this class. Many of you or all of you have had previous online discussion assignments, so you're familiar with people's viewpoints and their expertise and their interests. So endorsing each other on LinkedIn is a really benefit thing to help each other collaboratively help boost each other. So I want you to endorse each other. I want you to look at their skill set, and if you've seen them do it or you've watched them articulate really clear thoughts on our discussion threads or inside our classroom discussions, endorse them. You can also ask for recommendations. Look for your academic advisor or previous professor and ask for them to actually write you a short, it could just be a 5-sentence recommendation on LinkedIn. Recommendations are a fabulous way to help shine your profile, your social media profile. It also makes you more hireable. So that's an important thing. So those are your assignments for the LinkedIn. That's part one. Make the LinkedIn, find each other, find me, find each other, find some groups, endorse each other. That's part one. Part two is your choice. Okay, so you're to choose at least one, choose an additional means that you're comfortable with. All of these means, all of these platforms all serve a really good purpose. In my eyes, they serve a really good purpose. If you use them properly, you're going to get good stuff out of them. So, for example, this lecture is posted on YouTube. Are you following my YouTube page? Right? That might be the beginning, right? So, Dr. Richardson's YouTube page. I found it, I've liked it, I'm following it. Are there other YouTube channels that are really beneficial for what your interests are or where you're headed in your career? You'll find additional requirements listed on the assignment that I've posted. Again, if you've had me as professor for previous classes, you may have already completed the social identity assignment, so you're in bonus here, but I believe it's important for everyone. So too many students struggle really after completing their degree with finding and securing employment, or even being able to find themselves into a graduate school program. So relying on the power of networking can be truly life-changing when it comes to getting a job interview. I support each of you using LinkedIn as a way to build your support network for a job and find ways to fuel your talents. Instagram is another interesting platform that can relate to your future career as aspiring and very helpful means. There are wonderful physicians that have accounts with great information, right? So whether it's just a classic physician, whether it's injuries, whether it's concussions. There's right now with COVID, there's some great epidemiology, Instagram pages. There's great ways, especially in the fitness world, there's some really nice fitness pages that are legitimate fitness pages, right? So which ones are you following? Right? What businesses, accounts, or educational accounts do you find supportive and helpful for you to stay abreast of what, your career aspiration? I find the same with Twitter. Twitter is really interesting because now most academic journals are posting newly published articles on Twitter. So you can be an academic nerd like myself and follow some of these journals to stay up to date on newly released research, connecting with experts in the field, and really feeling united to the profession. If you're personal training, have you considered creating your own YouTube channel? What a great way to help educate others. If so, please share this channel with all of us here in the class, right? If you don't have your own channel, tell me what channels you're watching, right? What YouTube channels that obviously relate to our major and your future career, not just any YouTube channel, but what are you following? Whether it's diet, whether it's fitness, whether it's wellness, whether it's mindset, whether it's emotional well-being, what are you finding helpful? Again, start by finding my own social identity. You can find me in all of these things. I have an account on all of them. And I know that you're all very, very close to graduating, so I know that you may want assistance with references, and that's the benefit of all of this, is to stay connected with job postings and goals. And, I've got students who graduated 15 years ago. I'm still connected with them. So sharing social media accounts, even with those of us in the class that you may not know each other very well, especially with, the online environment, can greatly enhance job opportunities because you never know who someone else is already connected to, and that's going to begin, that web begins to build, and it really becomes beneficial. So when you use this wisely and prudently, social media sites and platforms offer the potential to promote individual and public health, as well as professional development and advancement. However, when used carelessly, we know the dangers and technologies posed, especially those of you going into healthcare, can be great. So be wise. Guidelines issued by healthcare organizations and professional societies provide sound and useful principles that you want to follow. You want to avoid pitfalls, post things that you want others to see. So throughout your career, right now, just as a student, I want you to connect with other students, with other educators. I want you to connect with previous people who've been helpful in your past. You never know when a new job opportunity is going to become available, all because you kept in touch with somebody. So we don't let opportunities to go by. Now more than ever, online virtual connections really mean a lot. So this week is kind of a fun week because the assignment is, for many of you, you're just now connecting with others. For some of you, you're now creating profiles that you may not have ever been pushed to do. But again, I am pushing you to do this. I will grade them. If you want to close them down after, you can. You have control on how you want those settings to be open or closed settings. But I want you to reach out to me if you have any questions.